Hello there.
A new documentary came out this week in the UK, titled 1,000 Men and Me, The Bonnie Blue Story. Airing on Channel 4, the new film has caused quite the stir among viewers, who were shocked to discover all about Blue and her story. For those with clean internet histories, Bonnie Blue is a 26-year-old British pornographic actress who made headlines earlier this year, when she claimed to have had sex with 1,000 men in a single day, in an attempt to set the world record for the most number of sexual partners in a day. Why this is a world record that needs to be broken or set in the first place is completely beyond me. In case you were wondering, whatever, that's about the record, no one cares. Bonnie Blue then doubled down in June when the controversial performer announced a petting zoo event in which she would be naked and tied up inside a glass box in a private house in London. Good job, London. You're doing great things. With the aim of letting 2,000 men have sex with her. This announcement got Miss Blue banned from the OnlyFans platform for violations of its policy against extreme challenges. Okay, she then appeared on the Andrew Tate podcast. For months, Bonnie Blue has been the subject of countless articles ranging from rage-bait tabloid fodder to more thoughtful pieces like a Guardian article in which Ava Wiseman wrote, "While Blue's intentions and morals and psychic damage have been frequently interrogated, the men lining up to be the 20th or 60th person to penetrate a stranger for 3 minutes while a guy does card tricks outside have been granted barely a glancing thought. The intentions and morals of these men were not of interest because it's normal. Normal to take sex when it's offered, normal to commodify the body of a woman, normal to go home afterwards, to live in a world accountable." Okay, so Eva Wiseman here is actually touching on a really good point, which is that Blue herself is not... there's like that she's been explored a lot, but actually the important thing is not really Blue. She's being gross, she's being vulgar, or whatever. But the men who are accommodating that and entertaining that and actually using her in this way, they're the ones that we actually need to look at and interrogate and explore the mentality there, because that reflects something of society that's actually, seems to me at least, deeply problematic. Why a man would want to participate in this ritual and be exposed to this and put himself in this place where he's 60th in line in a day as one of 1,000 men, to sleep with this woman and to use her body in this way. Like, that's the problem. That mentality is a problem, and that's what we need to be looking at. Bonnie Blue herself, not that interesting. She's willingly putting herself in this position. She's kind of trying to find younger and younger men to do this. Barely legals. Okay, she's gross. I don't think she's a fascinating subject that we need to keep looking at. But the mentality behind the men using this, that I think is worth exploration. Anyway, 1,000 Men and Me, The Bonnie Blue Story, aired on Channel 4 on Tuesday with a warning, and ever since the complaints and moral outrage have been coming in thick and fast. That's fair enough, I think. Channel 4 justified their decision to include graphic sex scenes in the documentary, stating the explicit content in the documentary is editorially justified and provides essential context. I'm sure it does. Whatever, dude. You air whatever you want. So these are people who are very upset. These are some of the comments from all the upset people. Beyond and because of, let's face it, the moral panic and media frenzy, is the documentary itself worth watching? This is a really interesting point that Euronews culture kind of finally digs down to. Once again, Euronews bit the bullet for the sake of your sensitive peepers and can reveal that 1,000 Men and Me, The Bonnie Blue Story, does not live up to the real-life controversy or the discourse around her. What does that mean? It means that Bonnie Blue is immensely boring as an individual, as a person, this character she's created. Although it reflects something interesting and problematic in society that we should be discussing, she herself is immensely boring, and watching a documentary about her doesn't live up to the controversy. There's nothing interesting there. So why then do we keep seeing her on podcasts? Why do we keep seeing interviews with this woman, which just involve her saying really vulgar, gross things and talking about her gross acts? And actually, there's nothing substantial there for us to discuss or really learn from. It's an entire waste of time, and it's just giving this woman a platform that she really doesn't deserve. Well, it would have been interesting to examine the possible dichotomy of Blue being either an empowered sex-positive entrepreneur or dangerously pandering to toxic male fantasies. The documentary doesn't delve all that deep into what lies behind her story. or what Channel 4 referred to in the synopsis as what's really going on behind those steely blue eyes. Viewers just get to witness her vacant stare. You see, this is the thing. People project. They think that there is something interesting and some depth to kind of be discovered in this woman. And actually, it's just a vacant stare. There's nothing to look at. There's nothing to grasp. There's nothing to discuss with Blue herself. True, her actions are... I think they're worth considering or worth discussing or worth interrogating at a societal level, because I think there are problems that she's reflecting that we need to actually try and resolve. But this shouldn't include us talking to her, because she's proven again and again on all these podcasts that she doesn't really have anything of value to say. Viewers just get to witness her vacant stare. What you don't get in the documentary is any proper insight into the polarizing Blue, or the way the content creator deals with being accused of being an agent of the patriarchy and the numerous insults thrown her way. You wish that Victoria Silva had challenged her more and gone into detail regarding what's at the heart of moralizing online debate. Okay, interesting points. Everyone says my brain works different. I'm just not emotional, says Blue in the documentary. I can control my emotions. If I don't want to get upset, I won't get upset. Okay, so there's this talk in this article. The focus is on moralizing and all these different ideas, and the fact that you don't really get into the kind of psyche of Bonnie Blue in the documentary. They say that's a shame. What I say is that it's because there is nothing there. The woman you're looking at is a character. She's created this character. It's very separate from any kind of substance she has as a human being. And every time you interview her, what you're interviewing is this character, and all she is just kind of gross stories and vulgarities, and it's not worth discussing. She's just boring. Unfortunately, you're sad about that. I'm sorry, Euronews. She's just boring. Her documentary is going to be boring. There's not going to be any substance there because she can't provide that. Every time she gets interviewed, it frustrates me, to be honest, because whatever interviews I watch, it's really boring, and I don't understand why we keep kind of getting her and talking to her like she has something of significance to add to our discussion as a society. So I'm specifically thinking of her interview with Andrew Gold here. I quite enjoy Heretics as a podcast. That's Andrew Gold's podcast. I enjoy what he has to say. Quite often, I enjoy the guests that he has on. He had on Bonnie Blue for about an hour, and I tried to watch it, and I really couldn't because she had nothing to say. And it felt like a complete letdown for me, and yet I see her appearing again and again on other podcasts because people are really trying to mine some kind of gold from this woman in terms of content. But she doesn't have anything to add. 1,000 Men and Me, the Bonnie Blue story, may or may not upset you, make you feel uncomfortable or feel dirty. But one thing's for sure, you won't emerge particularly enriched from the experience. She's not an enriching person. There are arguments and discussions to be had, and we can find the right people to have those conversations with. I'll give an example. I recently watched an interview between Winston Marshall and Louise Perry, and they discussed Bonnie Blue. And they discussed the kind of mentality that's behind this woman and behind the men who are participating in her videos. And they discussed the issues around sexuality and things around the internet, things like that. It was really interesting. All the interesting discussion you can have around Bonnie Blue and what she represents, you can have this with other academics or other journalists, people who actually have some insights into what's happening and they want to discuss these points. None of these conversations can happen with Blue herself because she has demonstrated she doesn't have the substance to engage with those discussions. All she can do is kind of spout the same nonsense, the same vulgar nonsense, the same over-sexualized stories, kind of being gross and to try and be humorously gross or just to try and create a name for herself, to try and grab attention. That's what she can do. We know that. It's boring now. Let's move past it and let's actually have the conversations that need to be happening with the people that we should be having them with, which does not include her.